Hey guys, it's Twiglet here. I hope you're doing good. We are going to be playing some City Skylines today. I've recently just bought myself the Mass Transit DLC, which I've never actually played with, and I thought today we'd give it a go and see what kind of hell we can wreak upon our citizens today. Now, it's been a little while since I last played City Skylines, so hopefully I can remember all the controls. So let's find what is the worst road we can add to this motorway. How about a couple of large roundabouts? How are we going to rotate this? Like that. Amazing. We're going to have two incredibly confusing roundabouts like this. Now, as you can see, we have a way in and out. I feel like, you know, more roundabouts. Roundabouts don't get enough love elsewhere, so let's make a city nearly entirely of roundabouts here. Perfect. Now we just need to connect some of these roads up. I mean, what could be more perfect than both roundabouts and large intersections? Oh dear, we're very low on money, so we need to curb in our enthusiasm a little bit. Now you might be thinking, Twiglet, this can't be the most efficient way to run your mass transit system. And you're totally right, but there is method to this madness. Now, if you came into a city that looked a bit like this, you'd probably want to leave straight away. We want to reduce the amount of cars that we've got on the road. Anyone that comes into contact with this roadwork is going to want to get out the car straight away and get straight on our public transport system, which is perfect. Now, in order to get this town running, we're going to need to do a little bit of zoning to make sure that we actually have some people in our houses. Alright, all that's left is to build a little bit of water and some electricity. So, seeing as we're going for some, let's go for some green electricity. It's also come to my attention that we can actually rename this city. So instead of calling it Cannes, let's call this something a little bit more appropriate. Alright, now it's my favorite time. We can actually start playing the game and see what buildings we're going to get. Once we get some of these shops and commercial areas built in, I'm sure things will sort themselves out. I'm still waiting for the first car to actually come through here. It seems like our plan of making it the most horrendous way in and out is actually working. We've got our first car. Let's watch this whole horrific journey unfold from the get-go. Look at this, right next to a factory here. I mean, who wouldn't want access to Frank's fish stick factory right next to your front door? All I can say is I think they've moved into the right neighborhood. Please help me. What better place for office parking than in the middle of a roundabout? Perfect. Now all we really need to do is wait for our population to grow. We've already got 109 people living here, though, which is pretty quick. Because in order to have an effective mass transit system, first of all, you need to have a mass of people using it, and we want the more people in our city, the better, because the more people to exploit. I think the most surprising thing so far is actually we've had no traffic. We currently have no traffic problems, which I know that it's not the biggest city, but I'm surprised even now this is still working. Like, if you check out our traffic overlay, where literally everything is in green. There isn't a single place that is causing us any problems at the moment. So I feel like we've really cracked the system here.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
Okay, so they may have run out of electricity here, but we're nearly in the green. Once our weekly income goes into the green, we can add a tiny bit more. Now, one of the most important things for growing a city in City Skylines is actually accommodation. So we're going to just make one big residential neighborhood here. Perfect. The city of Please Help Me is finally growing. We need to get to 460 population, and then we can get our favorite feature, taxes. Not enough money. Oh, we've already spent all our money on roundabouts. And every time we feel like we've outgrown the area, we're just going to throw in another one of these roundabouts and just chuck in whatever zoning is needed at the time, which currently is offices. And we finally unlocked Little Hamlet, which means the city of Please Help Me is doing fantastic. We can finally tax our residents and just make it a really unpleasant place to live. We also now have enough money for a few more roundabouts, which is perfect. Just enough to feed my addiction of adding these things. But I feel like this is already far too simple and far too easy for people to get around in their cars. So let's make this even more impractical for them. Surely you would think that the place for this road to connect is here. But actually you're wrong. The place for this road to connect is actually going to be over this roundabout. We're going to build it up over this way. And this road is actually going to connect over here. Perfect. Does that not look practical? It also seems like we've run out of electricity, so in order to make enough money to pay for that, let's just hike up taxes a bit. Hell, I mean, come on, 12% taxes, that's nothing. Let's get it up to 20% at least. Now we're talking. And let's just add a whole bunch of these bad boys. I feel like it's time to clear out the zoning on this area. Let's see if we can just get rid of all these people, and then they won't be sick anymore, which is kind of like a solution.
Bruh.
They want an infirmary, but I already spent all of my budget on roundabouts, so we're going to have to wait for our costs to come down a little bit. We also now have enough to buy our medical clinic, and seeing as the city is called Please Help Me, I feel like we should at least try and do a little bit of that duty for them. And we're going to put this right at the entrance from the motorway, just to make sure that we're making it really inconvenient for any of the cars needing to get into our city. So that just encourage them to use public transport in any way, shape or form. Perfect. I can't imagine this will cause any traffic issues. Just what we need. Lots of ambulances going up and down Walnut Street. Boomtown, that's what we're looking for. Population of 2,600, that's when we can unlock our transport tab, which is really what this video is all about. My favourite part is this roundabout, which just has these two enormous buildings in the middle. They look ridiculous. What is this even making? Ice cube factory and goods. Just goods. So it's time to start our first bus line. Let's take it right from the hospital, and we're going to have stops around this roundabout, and then we're going to go stops around this roundabout as well. Make sure these roundabouts are being used correctly. Ah, yes. Now this just feels perfect. We've got one resident using the bus. It's got 7 passengers now. Excellent. Here our beautiful bus starts its journey, encountering first of its many, many roundabouts. It's got 12 passengers already. People are actually using this crazy system. I'm honestly surprised there are people getting on and off this bus, despite it stopping every about 3 times per roundabout. Not only that, but we still have relatively good traffic. Oh, ignore that. Ignore this bit. In fact, this traffic flow is entirely caused by buses. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buses stuck around this roundabout. No wonder it's slowing up down the traffic. And here is exactly the solution I had in mind. If you're struggling in traffic, then just take a blimp. We'll have one stop right here by the motorway. We'll have one stop round here. We'll have another stop down this way. Oh, that's all we can afford for now. But let's get this blimp line running. And now we simply need to connect these up, adding a stop in all of these locations. And we're going to add another line going this way as well. We've got our dark blue blimp line, we've got our yellow blimp line. I'm going to take a look at the budget and see if we can increase the number of blimps being flown. Well, let's throw that up to 150%. Let's have a look at some of these blimps taking off. There they go. Look at this guy. Yeah, we're going to have these bad boys all over the place. And we get donut adverts at the same time. If this isn't a modern society, I don't know what you were expecting. Nothing quite says efficiency like a blimp with only 10 passengers. With our high-density residential zone, we can now add some big buildings in here. So we're going to get rid of all of these happy families here. Time to watch this baby grow. This is turning into a beautiful city. Wonderful roundabouts and poo-coloured rivers. It's no surprise that we're gaining tourism every day. So I decided to make a bridge over this way to make it more easily accessible to the city, which I'm going to name Trash Bridge, which basically just takes out all the trash. Literally all you see going along this bridge are these garbage trucks. We now have a start of a terrible metro line, and we're going to add a few more stops to this. Why not one there? And these will allow you to skip out the roundabouts should you ever want to. I slightly misdesigned this metro, so the train has to come all the way along through this tunnel, back out, and round back on itself to get to this part, but I quite enjoy the confusion of that. I love how quickly this has got out of hand. Just to see how miserable it is to live in this city, I really want to just take a day in the life of one of our average citizens walking to work. How are you today, Clayton Jones, going to the Bouncy Castle Park? I wonder how long it takes you. Well, it seems like you're simply walking. Man, they love this Bouncy Castle Park. Oh man, there's a hot dog van owned by the Ice Cube factory. That's a rogue choice for a company vehicle. 2 roundabouts, 3 roundabouts, 4 roundabouts, 10 roundabouts. 10 roundabouts, and he finally got to his work at the Ice Cube factory. Now, if that's not efficiency, I don't know what is. And just in time for us to unlock the monorail, our final destination on this whirlwind tour of all the terrible transport solutions we can have in the city. But we're going to have them everywhere. The mighty monorail. Just got to squeeze this monorail in whatever way we can. It would appear that the brand new roller coaster, monorail, is ready for its first stops. So all we need to do is take the monorail line, find some places for it to stop, finally completing the line here. We have our monorail line, and I'm more than excited. But while I was waiting for the for the monorail. I noticed the crowd for the blimp. My goodness, this thing is popular. Surely there's a better alternative for you. Not that I'm complaining, this is exactly what I wanted when I started. But I think it's about time that we rode along to discover some of the beautiful sights of our wonderful transit haven that we've created here. And what better route to take than the oh-so-scenic monorail train with 3 passengers out of a possible 180 on the line. And literally nobody waiting at the platform for the next stop. Really is a surprise that this thing keeps on the rails whatsoever. But my god, does it look fun for the ride. But I do hope that you've enjoyed this video, and while we ride along with the monorail, I wanted to remind you to check out some of my other videos. We've got plenty of more content coming up in the future. And let me know in the comments if there's some other games that you'd like me to play. But in the meantime, I've been Twiglet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.